Welcome to Spirit Light TV. At this moment, our lives is about to be transformed as the Word of God is about to resonate with power and grace. Please stay tuned, sit back, and you'll be blessed.
That you can use nature, you can use biology, you can use sociology, and you will still learn the ways of God with the accuracy of someone who accessed the prophetic. That so that whether you choose to be serious or not, as far as knowing the ways of God is concerned, you should not be with any excuse. This is very powerful. So, if you are in doubt as to how God's victory systems work, how his dominion system work, all you need to do is look at your world and look at the things that he created, because he used the same formula in creating them. And when I was studying for this, I was so blessed, because it ministered to me. It just showed me immediately where the believer's problem is. The believer's problem is a problem of isolated truth, that the truth has not been able to come together systemically to produce wholesome victory. And lend me your attention for a few minutes. I want us to explore the human body as a case study, since the Bible tells us that we can use nature and the things that God has created physically to understand his ways. There are many truths that are powerful, and many of us have received them, but in isolation they will not produce wholesome victory. I give you an example. Confession. The average Pentecostal charismatic is not at a loss as to the power of confession, the power of the spoken word, you see. And many of us have been trained and mentored to not play with our speakings. And I have taught you that, and that is a fact. But if confession is the only truth you have and you know, you are going to be disappointed, because it was supposed to be part of a larger system that produces the wholesome victory of the believer. Are we together now? Isolating confession as the only parameter required for victory will eventually end you in frustration. Another example: warfare and deliverance. Africa understands this very powerfully. And if you're in this ministry, you understand this very powerfully. I believe in warfare and deliverance, but not as the single and only key that brings wholesome victory for the believer. That would be error. Are we together now? That warfare and deliverance has its place and its jurisdiction. It becomes profitable only when it is connected to a larger body of truths. Please understand what I'm teaching you tonight. Isolating it and just believing or teaching that deliverance and warfare, even prayer, is the one and only key. No, you are going to be programming a lot of pain that will be waiting for you in the future. Is someone learning? Number 3, for instance, don't write, just listen, is hard work. I'm giving you a lot of isolated truths as a case study. Hard work. There are people who do not believe in prayer, do not believe in demons, for instance, do not believe in whatever it is. They just believe in hard work. Work hard. And then we use stories like there are great people, Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos and all these guys. They work themselves out and look what they've been able to do. Hard work is the key. You are right. But if in isolation to other bodies of truth, you are bringing another version of error. Are we learning now? I hope that as you are listening to me, God is showing you where the problem is. That it's not that you are in complete ignorance, but you've not been able to synergize these truths. For others, character and moral excellence. And as wonderful as it is, because in society, the moment you are an advocate of character and moral excellence, society seems to have a heightened respect for you. And that is correct. But there are many people who believe that just having character or moral excellence alone will magically make everything work out for you in life. So you have sincere people. They will not steal, they will not sin, they love God with all their hearts, and there is nothing. For instance, our missionaries, for instance, sincere advocates of the gospel, you see nothing working in their lives. The trouble here is that their children have been watching that mistake for a long time, and the children are already making secret vows. I will never be like this person. And if we do not correct this, a generation is going to come that will stand upon the grave of their parents and curse God to his face. Are we learning? So I choose deliverance and warfare. That is my key. Another person says, I choose character and moral excellence. Another person says, I don't believe in all these your things. I'm going to confess the word. That's my own. None of them, because you can see little results from those experiences. Meaning there is the power of God backing it. But it was never supposed to be in isolation. Now, the human body, I wrote here, is the most visible clue to how God designed the believer's life to function. Let me take it again. The human body is the most visible clue to how God designed the believer's life to function. Let me take it one last time. The human body now, biology now, I'm speaking biology. The human body is the most visible clue to how God designed the believer's life to function. That means if you can understand how the body functions, then you can understand how the believer should function. You can understand how victory is wrought. Look at me, please, ladies and gentlemen. You are seated here because you are alive and you woke up this morning. Am I right on that? You most likely stretched yourself, took your bath, ate, laughed, did all kinds of things, walked, and did so many things to find yourself here. Now you are listening to me. There are many things you take for granted, but medical science will teach us that just to be able to listen to me, you will have to examine the many things that are working in your body to make listening and understanding happen. Are we together? There are people, for instance, who have dementia. It's a condition where they forget things. Am I right on that? And yet those people are not dead, they are alive, but a component of their life is wrong, and look how much it can affect them. There are people, for instance, who have stroke. A part of them may be paralyzed because of something that happened to their brain. They are not dead, yet they are incapacitated in many ways. Now I want you to imagine the parallel of that in the spirit. How many people carrying spiritual dementia? They are born again. How many people carrying spiritual epilepsy? Why? Because an aspect that was supposed to make for their overall health was deadened through pride, through wrong mentorship, or through complete ignorance. Have you had cases, for instance, now respectfully speaking, where a patient is grounded and the only thing that moves in the patient is his eyes? Have you seen that kind of thing? The hands cannot move, the limbs cannot move, and yet the person is alive. He can't respond, yet he's hearing you. Imagine that kind of pain. Some of us have had our loved ones go through that thing, and you can imagine the pain looking at a human being, an adult. Do you know there are many like that spiritually? The only thing moving is their eyes. The only thing is that you saw them give their lives to Christ. Spiritual hands not working. No progress, no nothing.